For part 2 of lesson 1, we are going to be looking at ratios. So a ratio is something that compares two quantities. So in this picture example here, we're comparing tigers to lions. We can compare any two things. We can compare blue eyes to brown eyes, glasses to not glasses, Cubs fans to Sox fans, hamburgers to hot dogs. Any two quantities can be compared. And then we have different forms that we write them in. So the two forms we're going to looking at are ratio and fraction. So ratio form is when you use the colon, 10 to 4. So here we're still looking at this example here. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tigers to 1, 2, 3, 4 lions. So 10 to 4 with that colon. And then we always simplify. We'd be using our factor chart to realize that 10 and 4 divide by 2 and give you the simplified ratio of 5 to 2. Fraction form, it's the same idea, you're just writing it as a fraction. The first one now is going on top, the second one on the bottom, so 10 to 4, which same thing is going to simplify to 5 to 2. And then an explanation is saying in word form what that means. We basically use the same format every single time. There are blank for every blank, looking at the two units. So we've got our tigers first, and we have our lions second. So let's look at some examples. When we're doing this, remember that order is important. So we really have got to pay close attention to what order they are looking for. So the table shows how many of each type of snack is found in a vending machine. What is the ratio of chips to candy? So I'm going to use my highlighter and I'm going to look at the two different things here. We're comparing chips, which is right here in our table, to, we are comparing it to, sorry, grab my other highlighter, to candy, which is right here and that. So when I'm filling this out, I'm going to just kind of highlight underneath. I'm going to label my chips is going to be the first one in our ratio form and the first one in our fraction form, and the candy is going to be the second one in our ratio form, the second one in the fraction form. So I'm going to write out, this was looking at chips to candy, chips to candy. So I know that's the order it needs to go in. All right, well, what were we given? We were given 35 chips, so that's going first, to 28 candies. It's going to be the same thing in the fraction form, but instead of left to right, it's top to bottom. So 35 chips to 28 candies. Now we need to make sure and double check to see if we can simplify. So that's what I'm going to be looking at my factor chart. We've got 35 and 28. So I don't think I can show them both at the same time. 28 divides by 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. For 35, the one that they have in common is 7. So they both divide by 7. $35 divided by 7, when we're doing that, we just check to see what it matches up with. It matches up with 5. So 5 to 28 divided by 7 matches up with 4. It's going to give us the same thing here. 35 divided by 7 should still be 5. 28 divided by 7 should still be 4. So these are our two simplified forms. Explaining its meaning, well, the first number was representing our chips. That was what was first. So there are 5 chips for every 4 candies. Let's do another one. In the school band, there are 24 drums and 36 trumpets. What is the ratio of trumpets? Is our first one. So trumpets is coming first to drums. That's coming second. So there are, we're looking for trumpets first. The common mistake people will make is they'll put 24 because that's what came first. But where I see trumpets is actually here, and that goes with 36, not 24. So it's 36, sorry, I should label this, trumpets to drums. I'm just going to do T to D there. And the 24, if you actually look what's next to it, is referring to the drums. So trumpets is 36, drums is 24. That order is important. It wanted trumpets first. So same thing here. It's going to be 36 to 24. Now we are going to look to see what we can divide by to simplify. We're going to get a simplified fraction. We're going to get a simplified ratio. So 36 and 24. This we can probably see on the same page. Yep. We've got 36 up here. We've got 24 here. The highest number that they both share is 12. So we're going to divide them by 12. So 36 divided by 12, if we look, 12 matches up with 3. So 36 divided by 12 is 3. And 24 divided by 12 is 2. So our simplified in ratio form looks like that, and our simplified in fraction form looks like that. And continue with the same order here. So there are 3. The first one was trumpets for every 2 drums. All right, a couple more. This time when we're looking at it, we are going to be looking at some examples that might not just be that might look a little bit different, or comparing it to the whole, not just the part. In Miss Krippinger's class, there are 20 students and 20 Chromebooks. What is the ratio of Chromebooks to students? So again, the order in which we're doing this is Chromebooks first and students second. When we're looking at the example, we have Chromebooks first, but it was listed second here. So 20 Chromebooks. We've got our Chromebooks and our students. Chromebooks and students. So we have 20 Chromebooks, and then the number of students here is 20. Same thing here, 20 Chromebooks to 20 students. When we are looking at this, they are the exact same number, 20 and 20. If they are the exact same number, when we're simplifying, they're going to divide by the number itself, because it's the same exact number. So the highest number they divide by is 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1. 20 divided by 20 is 1. So that's our simplified ratio form. 20 divided by 20 is 1 over 20 divided by 20 is 1. That's our simplified fraction. A lot of people, when they're done with this, they want to write this as an answer of, oh, well, that simplifies to 1. That is incorrect. With ratios, you always have to have 2 numbers. You're comparing 2 quantities, you have to have 2 numbers. So when we're writing this out in sentence form, there is 1, the thing that was first was Chromebook, for every one student, or for every student. That's what we mean when we say it's a one-to-one school. There's one Chromebook for every one student. Number 4, at the zoo, there are 5 zebras, 8 lions, 15 elephants, and 2 tigers. What is the ratio of zebras to all of the animals? So we are comparing zebras, which is right here, that's going to go first, to all of the animals. And here's where we got to pay close attention, okay? So we are comparing zebras to all. Zebra to all. So it's easy to spot zebras. We already pointed it out right here. We have 5 zebras. The all is tricky. A lot of people make the mistake of just adding the 5, the 15, and the 2. Because they're like, oh, that's what's left over. But the zebras are part of all the animals. So the zebras have to be included. So we add 5 to that. So 5 plus 8, I'm going to write this here, 5 plus 8 plus 15 plus 2 gives us a total of 30. So the total number of animals, including those zebras, is 30. And now we're going to simplify. Using my factor chart, looking at 5 and 30. Just barely fit it in here. 5 and 30. Well, 5 only divides by 1 and 5. 30 also divides by 5. So the highest number they both divide by is 5. Using our factor chart, 5 divided by 5, what does the 5 match up with? It matches up with 1. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 30, we find 30, the 5 matches up with 6. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So our simplified ratio and our simplified fraction. Then when we write that out in the correct form, there is 1. The 1 is representing our first value, which is zebra. For every 6, you could put total, or all, or total animals. Or just every 6 animals. All right, one more, and then we're going to do the U-try. A fruit basket has 3 apples, 5 bananas, and 12 oranges. What is the ratio of oranges, which we have right here, to all of the fruit? So the oranges is first, all the fruit is second. So I'm going to write that out. Oranges, all. Orange, all. So again, oranges are easy to spot. It says there are 12 oranges. For all the fruit, remember, we're not just adding the 3 and the 5. We also add the 12 because it's all the parts. 3 plus 5 plus 12, which equals 20. So our ratio is 12 to 20. We're going to check our factor chart, 12 and 20. Can't fit them both on the screen, but if you double check them, the number that they are both going to divide by is 4. So when I simplify 12 divided by 4, the 12 matches up with the 4, and 12 matches up with 3. The 20 divided by 4 matches up with 5. So our simplified ratio form, our simplified fraction form, And then in a sentence, there are 3 that was referring to oranges. For every 5 that was talking about total fruit. All right, for the you try. Miss Eider surveyed her homeroom to see what kind of pets they have at home. And 14 students have a dog. The rest of the information you can read and go ahead and try on your own.